I just want to make sure that you guys are able to hear
Yes,
me
yes,
clearly.
ma'am. Clear.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Thanks. So, I was actually listening to all the discussion that has been going on regarding, trying to assimilate the Cholas as Hindus. And, it's a discussion in the national media, and I was very surprised by it. Because given the fact that I don't think there was any discussion about Rajaraja Cholan or the Chora Empire in the last 20 or 30 years by the national media. And now there's a movie that came out, and Choras, they talk about the Chola, they talk about Rajaraja Cholan. And keep in mind, this is not a movie based on real facts. It's actually a movie fiction, right? I mean, Ponniyin Selvan is a work of fiction, of which 97% of the story is fiction, and 3% is the truth, and the 3% truth is the death of Aditya Karihalan. And even in that 3% truth, Kalki did not reveal that who the true killers are. And so, I mean, I'm okay with that as long as it's a talking point, right? I mean, so we all know that in history, all our Tamil identities have been assimilated into Hindutva by the BJP group. And we lost our music, Tamil music, which we call as Tamil Pannisai, into Carnatic music because we were colonized after the 15th century. And all of this assimilation happened after the 15th century when the true Hindu kings ruled Tamil Nadu when Tamils were colonized. Now, before going into this topic, I would like to say that I was listening to the discussion put forth, the arguments put forth by the Hindu people. Right? I mean, people who claim that Rajaraja Cholan is a Hindu, I belong to the right wing, or I belong to BJP, RSS, or actresses, right? I mean, actresses. I'm not belittling them by calling them actresses because I know for Kasturi, she's a very smart woman. I have seen her, taking some quizzes in BBC back in like 20, 25 years ago. And she's a very smart woman. I don't try to belittle her by calling him an actress, but at the same time, that's how she is known for. So I have listened to her arguments too in the Tamil channel. I have listened to the arguments that's conducted in the national level. Okay, so let's go through their arguments and see whether there is some truth to it, right? I mean, before I start my arguments or before I start this discussion, I want to be completely honest and clear about something. I do not want to distort history. I do not want to distort history because there is enough distortion already done by the congenital cheaters, the Dravidian people, right? But at the same time, I want to take history and read what exactly happened, look at it comprehensively, and accept history as it is because that is how history should be taken, right? You don't cherry pick history, some pages of information from the history books, and then you try to have your argument in your favor, right? That's not how it works. Now let's look at the arguments put forth by the Hindu BJP RSS group, where they call that Rajaraja Cholan was a Sanadani. He actually was a Hindu king. I mean, I couldn't comprehend the fact that saying him as a Hindu king. That's all right. I mean, it's a topic of discussion. Let's talk about it. Now, the reason they say that Rajaraja Cholan is a Hindu king is because they say that there are inscriptions, some copper plate inscriptions in which the Cholas claim that they are from Ishavaku, they are from Surya Vamsh, and all this stuff. And I think one of the host in Tandi TV, she said that I don't know, her name is Ashokavartini or something. She said that Cholas, they had this name, Rajaraja Cholan had this name as Kshatriya Sihamani. So he actually accepted Sanadana Dharmam. Okay, let's keep it as an argument from their side. And they also said, oh, they actually recited Vedas inside the temple. There were colleges where Vedas were taught. So they accepted Vedas and they built the temples using Agamas, and Agamas belongs to Hindus. Now, I accept the fact that Vedas were recited in the temple, but you have to understand that Vedas were not recited inside the Garbhagriha. There is a big difference. When you talk about some information, you have to be as precise as possible because that is exactly how the Cholas etched our history in stone. They were very precise in what they etched in stone, and Vedas were not recited inside the Garbhagriha. Even now, you cannot recite Vedas inside the Garbhagriha because according to Agamas, you cannot do that. Now, people say that Agamas are Hindus, and that is why Rajaraja Cholan is a Hindu king. My first question is, Agamas are not Hindus. Agamas are Tamils. So do not try to assimilate something that is not yours and say that those are Hindus. If Agamas are Hindus, then my first question is, why are all the temples that are built in North India and majority of the temples in Southern India not built using agamas? When you talk about agamas, we have Shiva agamas and Vaishnava agamas. Majority of the temples, I would say 98% of the temples that were built by the Cholas, that were built by the Pandyas, and that were built by the Cheras, were built using either Shivagama for Shivan temple and Vainavagama and for Thirumal temples. So the statement that Agamas belongs to Hindus is completely wrong because Agamas are Tamils. And that is why only in Tamil Nadu you find that the Shiva temples are built using Shiva Agamas and the Vaishnava temples or the Thirumal temples are built using Vaishnava Agamas. So if something is unique to Tamil, let it be with Tamils and don't try to swindle it from us, right? So that is my first statement. So the statement that the right-wing Hindus are making is agamas are theirs, but that is not the truth because we see that the pattern or the temples built in Tamil Nadu are using agamas. So agamas are Tamils and it is unique to us. That's the first one. Now, I want to talk about something called as cherry picking. Now, what is cherry picking, right? When I started the argument, I clearly mentioned that if there are 100 pages in a history book, let's consider this, there are 100 pages in a history book. What the right wing do is they look at the pages which support their arguments. Now, they don't give the comprehensive information, they don't give the complete information, but they look at 8 pages out of the 100 pages. They know that, okay, this is supporting me, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to pick up this particular page, and when I'm going to make a statement, I'm going to use this 8 pages and I'm going to say that, okay, Rajaraja Cholan is a Hindu king because these Vedic were taught to them. He did this, he is a Sanadani, there is a mention of Kshatriya Sigamani. You don't do that. That is called as cherry picking. You talk about the 100 pages and let the people decide whether he's a Hindu king or a Tamil Shaivite. And that is exactly what we are going to do now. Now, let's get into the temple itself. Now, the temple, for people who are outside from Tamil Nadu, if you are hearing, it's not called as Bragadishwara temple. No, that is not the name that was given by Rajaraja Cholan. It was not even called as big temple. The temple was called as Rajarajacharam, which was named after the emperor Rajaraja Cholan itself. That is the name of the temple. So I always say this, right? I mean, myth and false information flies fast, but truth always takes its slow and steady steps. And when people make a video, it becomes viral when there is so much false information in it. But when you make a video with real facts, with stone inscription, it takes time for them to reach people. But at the same time, that is the right way of approaching anything. So the temple name is called Rajarajacharam and it is not Bragadishwara temple. So when he built a temple, guess what the Cholas did? Guess what Rajaraja Cholan did? He built a temple which is a central shrine exactly 216 feet. Now, why did he do something like that? I mean, for people outside of Tamil Nadu, you might not be able to relate with the number 216, but there is a major significance on this number 216 when it comes to Tamil's history. There are 12 alphabets which we call Uyir Ezhuthu in Tamil, right? 12 Tamil alphabets. And then there are 18 alphabets which we call as Mei Ezhuthu. When you compute them, when you multiply 18 into 12, you get this number 216. And that is exactly the height in which the Rajarajacharam or the central shrine was built. So Rajaraja Cholan, he built a Shiva temple, but he gave significant importance to the Tamil alphabets, the 216, and he wanted to build a temple for 216 feet because he wanted Tamil to be given the paramount importance. And that is exactly why I call he is a Tamil Shaivite king and not a Hindu king. Now, that is my first argument, right? So, when the Cholas did anything, whether it is building the temple, whether it is stone carving, whether they gave the stone inscriptions, they did it precisely. And Topa always says that, this is a, imperialistic attitude of Rajaraja Cholan. I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, we had something which we should be proud of in our history, right? You cannot belittle him by calling him as imperialistic. I mean, almost all the kings are imperialistic, but there is so much humane side to Rajaraja Cholan, which we will discuss later in this conversation. So, the first argument is he built the temple only for Tamil and Tamil only. If you read the book Rajarajacharam, written by Kudavail Balasubramaniam, he would clearly mention that the big temple served as a Tamil university, 1,000 years ago. That is exactly what he has written. He said that, I mean, Rajaraja Cholan did not merely build this temple. He built it for Tamil because he wanted the art, he wanted the dance, he wanted the music of Tamils to be inside the temple. And that is why he built Rajarajacharam. Now, I mean, there are certain people, and even Topaz referred to it. The Brahmins inside the Chidambara Dikshit temple, the Nambudiri Brahmins inside the Chidambara Dikshit temple, did not allow Tamil to be sung inside the temple. Even during Rajaraja Cholan time, they did not allow it. And you have to understand, they actually crown prince the king, right? I mean, when you are the crown prince, they have this coronation, and you'll be made as a king by the Chidambaram Dikshita. So Rajaraja Cholan did not even want to fight with them because there is a story to it with Aditya Karihalan's death. So what he did was he wanted to tame them, but in a way that he did it with the help of Lord Shiva and Tamil. And that is why, in order to tame the Nambudiri Brahmins of Chidambaram Dikshita temple, he actually built the biggest temple that there ever will be, the majestic Rajarajacharam in Tanjavur. Now, that is my second argument. The third argument is a lot of this Hindu people, I mean, who always want to say Rajaraja Cholan is a Hindu king, he is not a Shaivite, he is not a Tamil Shaivite. They actually hide information from us, which is very, very crucial to actually identify himself as a Tamil Shaivite. Now, did they recite Vedas inside the temple? I already agreed to that, right? I mean, I know exactly what the Vedas were recited in the temple, but keep in mind that it was not recited inside the Garbhagraham. It was, so according to the Agamas, the Vedas can be recited only outside the Idegari Mandapam. I mean, that's a place in the temple, and you can recite the Vedas only up to that point. After that, you cannot recite Vedas. So the Agamas are very restrictive about where Vedas can be recited. So when Rajaraja Cholan built this big temple, I told you very clearly that he did it for Tamil, right? What do I mean by Tamil? Now, he appointed 50 people. I mean, you have to, let me reiterate this. He appointed 50 people just to sing the divine hymns written by the greatest Shaivite poets, Appar, Tirunjana Sambandar, Sundarar, and Manikya Vasagar, which we Tamils worship as gods. It is called as Devaram and Tiruvasagam. And the reason he did that was he wanted Tamil to be given the highest importance inside the temple. So every day during Rajaraja Cholan, after he built the temple, there would be 50 people who would go inside the temple and sing Devaram and Tiruvasagam, and this happened for a very long time. Now, how do we know all this? Because I'm telling you, when Rajaraja Cholan built this temple, he did not build the temple alone. He documented everything, what was going on in the temple, so that people after 1,000 years, his grandsons would come and look at what he did, what exactly happened to the temple, how many people were singing Devaram and Tiruvasagam inside the temple. All this information are etched in stone, and nobody could deny this fact. Because if you go to the temple, the 50 people who sang Devaram and Tiruvasagam inside the temple, their names are etched in stone. Out of those 50 people, 48 actually sang Devaram and Tiruvasagam. There was one who played Udukai. Udukai is for the Shiva. He has it in one hand. That's our ideology. And there was one more person who played Mattalam. So out of the 50 people, 2 played the musical instruments for Shiva and 48 recited or sung Devaram and Tiruvasagam. This is what history shows us. This is what exactly happened during Rajaraja Cholan's time. Now, what happened inside the Garbhagraham, right? I mean, that is a question which none of the people who wants to claim Rajaraja Cholan as a Hindu is going to talk about. It is clearly mentioned that the people who sang Sanskrit was 3, the number 3, okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, the people who sang Tamil were 4. So, everyone would say, the Cholas actually gave equal importance to Tamil and Sanskrit. No, that is not the truth. Tamil always had importance over Sanskrit at any given time during the Cholas and the Pandyas reign. Was Sanskrit used? Yes, Sanskrit was used. I'm not denying it. But at the same time, Tamil was given the major importance over Sanskrit, and it is clearly there in the stone inscriptions. So, when you look at how many people sang Tamil inside the temple, there are 4, and how many people sang Sanskrit inside the temple, there are only 3. You can go to the stone inscriptions, you can look at the inscriptions, you can read history, and you can argue with facts, right? And that is what exactly I'm doing. Now, who was the Sivacharya during Rajaraja Cholan's time? So, I already, when I started this conversation or my arguments, I clearly mentioned that the Sivacharyas are Tamils by birth. I mean, Dravidian, they say they are Parpan, but that is not the truth. Sivacharyas are also called as Adi Shaivas. I mean, what is Adi? Adi is ancient. So, Saivam is Tamil, and the Sivacharyas belong to this particular breed of Tamil people. They will only be found in Tamil Nadu. Topa has written this in his book, Samayangal in Arasial, page number 11, if I'm correct, or 17, any one of those pages. In that, he clearly mentioned that the Sivacharyas who get the Diksha, they are Tamils by birth and they live only in Tamil Nadu, and you cannot find them anywhere else outside of Tamil Nadu. Those are the Sivacharyas. So in Rajaraja Cholan time, who was the Sivacharya? Who is a Tamil by birth? His name is Pavana Pidaran. Now, what does Pidaran stands for? Pidaran stands for a person who is expert in Devaram and Tiruvasagam. So you have to be very clear when I say something. I have all the stone inscriptions to back me up, all the stone inscriptions to support my evidences and concrete evidences, and I'm not just blabbering like the Hindutva people are doing. So the Pavana Pidaran is a Tamil Sivacharya by birth, and he is an expert in Devaram and Tiruvasagam, which means that Tamil was sung and Devaram and Tiruvasagam was given importance inside the temple. That is why I call Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite and not a Hindu king, because we know what happened after the Hindu kings came after the 15th century, right? I'll actually do a comparison on that. Now, let's look at the status of women during Rajaraja Cholan's time, and let us see if he was a Hindu king or a Tamil Shaivite. So, even before Rajaraja Cholan's time, Trinyana Sambandar, and you have to understand this, I always mention this. The four people who are the authors of Devaram and Tiruvasagam, out of the four, except Appar is a Velalar by birth. So let's, we can keep him aside. The rest three are actually Tamil Brahmins by birth. The Tamil Brahmins actually gave importance to Tamil and they wrote Devaram and Tiruvasagam, and that is why the Tamil kings, the Chola kings actually worship them as gods. If you go to any Tamil temple that is built by the Chola kings or the Pandya kings, you'll always find the idols of these four in the temple, but we don't know how to identify them, but you'll always see that the four idols of the authors of Devaram and Tiruvasagam inside the Tamil temples. So, when Tirunyana Sambandar was there, when he was alive, he actually grabbed the hands of Tirunilahanda Yalpanar and Madanga Sulamaniya. They both are husband and wife. They belong to the Panar caste. Panar is for musicians caste. He brought them inside the temples and he let them sing Devaram and Tiruvasagam. They are the first Oduvars in Tamil Nadu's history. And you have to understand that there is a woman who is a Panar caste who actually came inside the temple, and Trinyana Sambandar, who is a Tamil Brahmin by birth, he brought them inside the temple and asked them to sing Devaram and Tiruvasagam. This can happen only in Saivam and Tamil Shaivam alone. So, what the Chola kings did was, they had idols of Madanga Sulamaniya and Tirunilahanda Yalpanar in some prominent temples. So, why did this happen? Because they are Tamil Shaivites and they are not Hindu kings. Now, there is some more reason to it, right? So, there is a particular sect of people called Tevaradiyar. I mean, it has a negative connotation now because of the Dravidian people, but during those times, Tamil women had complete access to property and they can actually have properties in their name. Even Brahmin women can have properties in their name, and they were allowed inside the temple to go inside the temple and sing Devaram and Tiruvasagam inside the temple. This happened because Rajaraja Cholan is a Tamil Shaivite and not a Hindu king. When the Hindu kings came after the 15th century, they destroyed our culture and they destroyed everything that we have built. But that's all right, right? I mean, it happened in history, I'm not going to be in denial, and I'm not going to have grief for what happened in history. So, because of this, women were given importance in the temple to sing Devaram and Tiruvasagam, and that is why I call Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite. I'm not calling him as a Muslim, I'm not calling him as a Christian, and I'm also not calling him as a Hindu king, but a Tamil Shaivite king. Now, let's look into some more arguments, right? So, when there is a particular place in history which we have to discuss about now. So, when Rajaraja Cholan's brother Aditya Karigalan, the crown prince of the Chola, was killed by Nambudiri Brahmins. I mean the Nambudiri Brahmins from Kerala, who actually got trained in Kandalur Sale. Now, this Kandalur Sale is actually a university, and in this university, they were not taught only the Vedas or Agamas or the Upanishads or the Sastras. They were also taught tactical warfare. They were also trained for, as warriors would be trained. Now, they killed Aditya Karihalan in close quarters, and this is clearly mentioned in the Udayarkudi Kalvette in Epigraphia Indica, page 165 to 170, because they wanted to seek revenge for the death of the Veerapandian. The, I've released a video about it yesterday in English, and I'm going to release a video about it in Tamil tomorrow. And in that, I've given complete information of what happened. Now, Rajaraja Cholan knew that his brother's killers killed Aditya Karihalan from close quarters, and he mentions them as traitors in his inscription. But they fled the Chola country and ran, and they took shelter in Kandalur Sale, a place near Vizhinjam in Kerala. Rajaraja Cholan, he decided that he is not going to be the king because he knew that his uncle Uttama Cholan wants to be the king, so gave the title to. He asked his uncle to be the king, and he served under him for 15 years. After 15 years, Rajaraja Cholan, his real name is Arunmozhivarman, became the king, and the first war that he took, he actually led, it was into Kandalur Sale. He went there, although they were Brahmins, Nambudiri Brahmins by birth, he did not spare them. He actually cut and severed their heads. This is what is mentioned in his Meikiti, which is called as true fame. So we have inscription which says, oh, he is from Suryavams, he is from, all this Ishavagu or Ramar. But Rajaraja Cholan actually was a trendsetter because he wrote something called as Meikiti, which is the true fame, in which he mentions what are the countries that are under his administration, and he never mentions anything about Ramar, Ravana, or Surya, anything like that. So he called it as Meikiti, which means true fame. So he wanted the people of Tamil Nadu to understand there are going to be inscriptions which is going to be in Sanskrit where he mentions he came from the sun, he came from the moon, he was like this, he was like that. But those are all Puranas. What is the truth? The truth is in Tamil. It's in Meikiti. It says these are the countries under my administration, and in that the first war which he took is the Kandalur Sale war. He went inside, he killed all the Brahmins. And it was just not Rajaraja Cholan, right? M.G.S. Narayan, one of the prominent scholars, he actually wrote a very nice article about what happened in Kandalur Sale. He clearly mentions that the Cholas raided that place for the next 100 years. Just not Rajaraja Cholan. His grandson, Rajadi Rajan, even in his Meikiti, he mentions about Kandalur Sale raid, which means he went to Kandalur Sale and destroyed that place. His great-grandson, Klothunga Cholan, also mentioned in his Meikiti that they went to Kandalur Sale and that they raided that place. So the Cholas, if they were Hindu kings, they would have forgiven the Brahmins who killed Aditya Karihalan. But they did not do it. They are Tamil Shaivites, and it doesn't matter whether you are a Brahmin or whether you are anybody from your life. If you are going to touch my crown prince of the Chola, you are going to resent or you are going to feel for that mistake for the next 100 years. And that is exactly what the Cholas did. They went, avenged their death against the Brahmins, the Nambudiri Brahmins of Kerala in Kandalur Sale. Now, why did he do that? If he had been a Hindu king, he would have pardoned those killers because they were Brahmins by birth, and he would have let them go scot-free. But he did not do that. He actually punished them. And that is exactly why I say Rajaraja Cholan is a Tamil Shaivite and not a Hindu king. Now, I can give you a reference of what a Hindu king did when a Brahmin killed his own son. Case in point, Krishna Deva Raya, the Tulu-speaking Vijayanagara king who settled in Andhra, his own son was killed by a Brahmin called Tuluva Simha, right? Saluva Timma. So, Krishna Deva Raya knew that he could not punish him because according to Manu, he cannot punish Brahmins. So, what he did was he threw him in jail and he did not punish him. This is what Hindu kings do. Because Vijayanagaram was actually created by a Sankaracharya from Sringeri, and they actually followed Sanadana Dharma. But Tamils did not follow Sanadana Dharma, or at least the Cholas did not follow Sanadana Dharma, and they followed Shaivam. I can give you one more example. When his brother Aditya Karihalan was killed in close quarters by the people who he trusted, the Nambudiri Brahmins, when Rajaraja Cholan became the king, he could not trust the people around him. This was always in his back of his mind because he has a very crucial example of where his own crown prince of the Cholas, his own brothers, was murdered by Nambudiri Brahmins. Now, Tanjavur and Karnataka is far apart. Like I would probably 600 kilometers or 700 kilometers. I'm okay with that, right? I mean, when you compare the distance between Tanjavur and Karnataka, and Tanjavur and Kashmir, Kashmir outweighs Tanjavur, the distance between Tanjavur and Karnataka. The reason I say that is when he knew that his brother was killed by the Nambudiri Brahmins, Rajaraja Cholan did something remarkable. He went to Kashmir and he got two Kashmiri Pandits. Their names are Sarva Siva Pandidar and Isana Siva Pandidar. I'm not going, as I started when I started my conversation, he clearly mentioned that I will not distort history. I will give history as it is. I'll give it to you comprehensively without hiding any facts. Although he got two Kashmiri Pandits, they are actually Shaivites. They are Kashmiri Shaivites by birth. He could have got to Sringeri. Sringeri is like 600 kilometers, 700 kilometers from Tanjavur. He would have got to Sringeri. He could have spoken to the Sankaracharyas there and he could have got those disciples from there. But guess what? He did not do it because he knew the Sankaracharya Sanadana Dharma has no place in Tamil Nadu, and that is why he went to Kashmir and got Kashmiri Shaivites, and that is exactly why I am saying Rajaraja Cholan is not a Hindu king but a Tamil Shaivite. Now, why do we have this? Why do we always need to say that we have social justice in Tamil Nadu? Even before the Dravidian movement, even before this conniving, treacherous, congenital cheaters, the Dravidian movement, Tamil Nadu had social justice thousands of years ago. Case in point, the 63 Nayanmars in Tamil Shaivism, they do not belong to one particular caste or any forward caste. They are from all sects of people. You have Parayas, you have Velalas, you have Shakti, you have Mukulotos, you have Brahmins. All sects of people are there in the Nayanmars, which means that social justice and the Sanadana Dharma was not accepted by the Tamil people, and they were ready to worship them as gods irrespective of the caste they were born into. That is why I call Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite. Now, when the Chola kings built temples, they always made sure that they had the 63 Nayanmars and the 12 Alvars in the respective temples, because once a Tamil guy walks into a temple and he listens to the story of the 63 Nayanmars, then he knows that social justice is the law of the land and you should not accept Sanadana Dharma. And that is why I call Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite king. Now, let's go into some other details. I don't measure a king's greatness by the terms of victories. I don't call Rajaraja Cholan he's the greatest king because he went into all these countries, he went into all these expeditions, he conquered all these lands, he's the greatest. No, that is not how I measure a success of king. When I started reading Ponniyin Selvan at the age of, probably I was in my 6th grade when I started reading, I didn't know all of this information because, as I told you, Ponniyin Selvan is a work of fiction. Once I came into the US and the Dravidian people, they actually forced me to read my history. When I started reading stone inscriptions, I always had a great fondness for Rajaraja Cholan because I'm from the I'm the heartland from the heartland of the Cholas, and I've gone inside that the Rajarajacharam temple thousands of times. And when I climbed up my grandfather's terrace, I could see the Sri Vimana from that house, and I always worshipped there. But those were, apart from all these reasons, there was something which I really fell in love with only recently. So, when I read about Rajaraja Cholan's inscriptions and the way he treated his people, I was surprised that 1000 years ago, the Tamil Shaivite king Rajaraja Cholan actually gave tax-free lands to all the people who are downtrodden, who are in need. So this is how I knew it, right? I mean, when you look at all the stone inscriptions that is there in Rajarajacharam, it clearly mentions with precision accuracy that Rajaraja Cholan actually gave tax-free lands to Parayas, to Kammalars, to Navidas or otherwise doctors, to all the people who are in need so that they can have a great livelihood. And this is why I consider him the greatest king. The greatest emperor of India did not take the land away from the people. He actually gave tax-free land to those people. And almost all the villages which were under his administration, he would mention, this is the village. Let's say the village has 300 valleys, right? I mean, we usually measure the land in valleys, 300 valleys. I'm giving tax-free land for X number of valleys to Parayas, X number of valleys to Kammalas, X number of valleys to Navidas, and he also gave tax-free land to the Brooks, like Vaikal, we call it as Vaikal, and he also gave tax-free land to the local deity temples, and whatever is the rest of the lands, that is where it was taxed, and then that portion of the tax was sent to the big temple. And that is why I think he's one of the greatest emperors, because the way he took care of his people. And I'll give one more classic example. Now, people say that he is a Sanadana because he has a name as Kshatriya Sigamani. The lieutenant or the war general of Rajaraja Cholan is a Brahmin by birth. He is not someone who was born in a different, different caste or any other caste. He was a Brahmin by birth. His name is Krishnan Raman Mummudi Chola Brahmarajan. A Brahmarajan is a title, honorary title that is given to Brahmins. So, if Rajaraja Cholan has accepted Sanatana Dharma, why would he make a Brahmin as a war general? Now, that's my first question. The next question is Rajaraja Cholan appointed a parayar by the name of Godanda Raman, and he gave him the honorary title. So, what is the position that was given to this Godanda Raman? His position was a government position was called as Thiruvai Kelvi. This is like a personal secretary to the king that was given to a parayar, and he was given the honorary title Raja Kesari, which means he is a lion amongst kings. The title was given to a parayar as lion among kings, and that this was given by Rajaraja Cholan himself, and that this is set in stone in the Rajarajacharam temple. And that is why I consider Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite and not a Hindu king, because the Hindu kings, the Vijayanagara lieutenants who came after 15th century, did actually many atrocious things that made the livelihood of parayas very miserable. The dark ages of Tamils came into being only after the Hindu kings from Vijayanagara Empire came as Vijayanagara lieutenants inside Tamil Nadu, and they crowned themselves as kings. That is why I don't consider myself as a Hindu. The moment someone says you are a Hindu, my mind immediately goes back to the 15th century when Tamils were colonized and they were made slaves inside their own homeland. Now, so what else do we have? So let's look at the closing arguments. Okay, so I have some actually questions for people who want to call Rajaraja Cholan as a Hindu king. I want you to do this. I want you to go to the Katchi Sivacharyas, right, and tell them that whatever we had, whatever rituals were followed in Rajaraja Cholan's time, and I actually forgot to mention something. So when Rajaraja Cholan built a temple and he gave in the honorary title to Parayas, he also did one more thing. It is called as Tiruparai Arrival. What it means is when the deity is taken out for procession, the Parayas would actually make music out of the Parai instruments. You have to believe this. This is given the title Tiruparai Arrival. Tiru in Tamil means divine. Parai Arrival means playing that Parai. So he actually had the Parayas play the music before the deity procession actually started. Now I want to go to you to the if anyone wants to call Rajaraja Cholan as a Hindu king, I want to go to the Katchi Sivacharyas. I want you to tell the Katchi Sivacharyas that whatever happened in Rajaraja Cholan's time during thousands of years ago, Tamil was sung inside the Garbhagraha of the temple. So we should do that. We should have Tamil sung inside the Garbhagraha of the temple. And this is a statement that has to be released by the Katchi Sivacharyas. And if they are able to ready for that, then we can have a discussion about whether he is a Hindu king or not. And out of the 50,000 temples, we have around 50,000 temples in Tamil Nadu. Out of the 50,000 temples, majority of them, I would say 99% of the temples, or 99.5% of the temples have the deities of Jnana Sambandar, Appar, Sundarar, and Manikya Vasagar, and there are not a lot of temples where we have idols of Shankaracharyas, because the Chola kings are Shaivites and they did not accept the Sanadana of the Shankaracharyas. Now, if you want to prove me wrong, you can give me how many temples have the Shankaracharyas idols, how many temples have the idols of the Devara authors, Devaram Tiruvasagam authors. We can talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's have an open public discussion about it. And let's see whether the Tamil kings actually accept Sanadana Dharmam. And that is exactly why I call Rajaraja Cholan as a Tamil Shaivite king and not a Hindu king. Now, I think I have made my argument very clear with all the proofs which I have. And, if you guys have any questions, I'm okay to it.
Anna, we will conduct this questions and things and all. We will do in some other days now. Okay, because we didn't plan for that actually. And we have planned for this space within one day. We have not informed our people too. So in this we will do in some other days, because our people are also questioning us that please conduct the same thing in Tamil too. So why we didn't conduct the same space in Tamil is the same contents and all are delivered by Arjun.M in his YouTube channel itself. But the people in North India has to know the truth. They have to understand who is Rajarajan and how the Tamil ancestor used to follow our gods and all. So that's why
No, I actually have,
we
yeah, yeah. Vignesh, I actually have a question for those people who call Rajaraja Cholan as a Hindu, right? So, there is a movie that comes out, Ponniyin Selvan, and you hear the name Rajaraja Cholan for the first time. You know that he's a great king, he's an emperor. Then immediately after you see the movie or whatever the propaganda machines you have, you immediately want to assimilate him as a Hindu king. Now, you don't know what the history is. You don't know anything about the Cholas. You don't want to talk about their administration. But just because he's someone in a, held in a great esteem by the Tamil people and is in a great stature, you want to assimilate him as a Hindu king. How can we even accept this? How can we even accept this? Let me give you a fact. The Tamils had something called as a Tamil music, right? Tamil Pan Isai. It was called as Tamil Pan Isai till the 17th century. But when the Brahmins who came along with the Vijayanagaram and the Sringeri, they actually changed the name into Carnatic music and they took the music away from the Tamil people. This is exactly what happened when we were colonized by them and we were enslaved by them 200 or 300 years ago before the British came and rescued the Tamil people. We had a dance called a Sadiratam. Do you have to understand that when Rajaraja Cholan built this temple, Devaram and Tiruvasagam were sung using the Tamil Pannisai because each Devaram and Tiruvasagam songs have a pun related or associated with it, right? So we have been singing this for till the 17th century. And when the Sringeri Sankaracharyas and the disciples came inside Tamil Nadu and colonized us with the help of the Vijayanagara lieutenants, they took the Tamil music and they rebranded it as Carnatic music. And now we don't have Tamil music. Everyone is saying it's Karnataka Isai. The same thing happened for the Tamils dance. They took Sadiratam, which was there till the 17th century. The Sringeri Sankaracharya and the disciples rebranded as Bharatanatyam, and they took that dance away from us. And now Tamils, we don't have a dance or a music. The same thing is happening in 2022, and this all happened because there is a movie that came out, and the Cholas were portrayed in a very beautiful way. So immediately they want to assimilate the Cholas as Hindus and do not give that importance or significance to the Tamil people. How can we accept that? We have so much social media now. The information passes like just like in a second. If something happens in Tamil Nadu, I can see it in the US. In spite of all these technological advancements, the core nature or the DNA or the gene of this Hindu Sanatana people has never changed and it will never change. We have to be very cautious of these people. They will always take Tamil's identities and they will project it as Hindus. Now, my question is the people who follow the Shankaracharyas are Hindus. The people who follow Saivam and Vaishnavam are not Hindus, but they are Shaivites and Vaishnavites because the moment you say they are Shaivam and Vaishnavam, Tamil comes into picture. Tamil is given importance. But when you say you are a Hindu, Sanskrit is given importance. And during Rajaraja Cholan's time, Tamil was given importance. And that is why I call him as a Tamil Shaivite and not a Hindu king.
Anna, I also saw that some people used to say that Cholas are from Rajputs, like that in North
Yeah,
India.
Cholas
So
are from
how
Rajputs.
they can claim this?
Yeah, Cholas are from Rajput. Tamils are from North America, and that is how they will distort history, right? Cholas are so. Tell me any temple that was built by Rajputs, just like how we have in Tamil Nadu. Did they follow Agamas? Did the Rajputs actually follow Agamas and build these temples? And they'll give you a funny fact. We actually have a Rajput in NTK America. He is actually a very good friend of mine, and he likes Tamil nationalism. He's a hardcore Tamil nationalist, and he's a Rajput by birth. He always says that don't go away from your history. Don't be distant by yourself away from your history because Tamils have their own unique history which needs to be preserved.
And one more thing, people from Dravidian ideology, do they know that Rajarajan made women to sing that
No,
Devaram
no,
songs in
they know
Tamil?
exactly what happened. They know. See, this is how the Dravidian mafia works, right? The congenital cheaters work. They will talk all the way up to 1520. They will spread smear campaign, malicious intent. They will, ask people to write stories, blogs, books about Rajaraja Cholan, which does not have any evidence, which does not have any stone inscriptions, which does not have footnotes, but they try to distort our history and maliciously spread rumors about our history. But after 1500, they will not open their mouth. They will jump from 1500 all the way to 1950, and then they will say Dravidium is what Tamil people are. This is how they talk about history. So they both are, they are like the two sides of the same coin, the Dravidium and the Hinduism, BJP, RSS. Because if you trace their roots, it goes to one particular place, and that particular place is Sringeri Madam in, the Shankara Math in Sringeri. So Periyar's ancestors, the religious philosophers, are the Shankaracharyas. And if you talk about, and if you look at all these people who always cry, we are Hindus in Tamil Nadu, if you trace their roots, it also goes into the Shrinkeri Mutt. And that is why I say Aryam and Dravidam are the same people. They just, talk differently, but they have the same, what do you call, motto. They want to steal Tamil's identities. If you listen closely and if you look at history, what happened, they did it with precision. And now that we have woken up, they are scared with us, and that is why they. But even then, they are trying to assimilate Rajaraja Cholan as a Hindu king. I mean, it's just surprising, given the fact that just because of a movie, he becomes a Hindu king, right?
Fine. Shall we close today's space now?
Yeah, I'm
Hope
okay.
you have provided much information about this
Yeah. I think I've given enough
topic.
information. Yep.
Okay, okay, and thank you, Arjun.M, for sharing your vast knowledge on Cholas. Uh, through your eye-opening speech, you have destroyed Hindutva's saffronization campaign on Cholas. We are extremely grateful for your time and effort to enlighten us today. Anna. I sincerely request my NTK brothers and sisters to follow and support Tamilar Udagam channel to educate yourself on Cholas and our rich cultural history. So we will forward looking for we will do some sessions now on this topic and thanks again for your coming Arjunana and thank you all of us who are all in listeners. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.